But there is a risk that people are getting back into debt again, not just people on welfare. I think people lots of income groups are starting to rack up debt again. I think in a way that we should watch. I think the answer is not to backtrack on important reforms of welfare, which have a lot of support around all parties, but to from our coalition partners and brothers in the Liberal Democrats and sisters in the Liberal Democrats, and of course from Labour as well, who campaigned to...
Please focus on my question.
I'm answering your question.
I'm asking about your belief in sanctions. Are you still supporting sanctions?
I'm answering your question. You've asked, will you press the government to reverse benefits cuts and sanctions, which again, I said, I don't think that we should be scrapping welfare reforms, because I think they're vital. What we should be doing is helping Londoners with debt advice. I think credit unions are very important. We promote them on the GLA website. We have an annual Know Your Rights campaign. Victoria has led the way on that. We are championing financial literacy in schools so people understand how debt works, how interest works, the terrible traps that they can get into, particularly with payday lenders. And as I said, we continue to reduce the burden on low-income Londoners wherever we can, cutting council tax, helping people with free transport of all kinds.
What we found in the Economic Committee...
And that's the best way forward.
What we found in the Economic Committee, that 500,000 Londoners are now in problem debt. And an LSE report, which we looked at as part of the committee examination, said that welfare reforms were greatly increasing and complicating people's insecurity, uncertainty now prevailing around benefits due to sanctioning. And people are actually struggling to pay basic items like food and heating. Now, I've got some stories here. I wondered if you'd heard these. For example, on sanctions, a man had a heart attack. He was taken to hospital, missed an appointment, and was sanctioned for 9 weeks. A young couple's address was wrong on the Department of Work and Pensions website, computer, and they had no money for a month. And a man was sanctioned for going to a job interview instead of an appointment. Sanctions are actually making things worse. They are so strict, so inflexible, that they're actually creating more problems. Do you still support sanctions?
Well, I think, whether you've got clear cases of a lack of common sense or inhumanity, such as you've outlined, though I haven't got, I can't comment on the detail of those cases, and that's absurd. But I think what your question asks is, should we reverse the benefit reforms, benefit cuts? And I don't think that's something that would be sensible. The housing benefit had to be tackled. It was mushrooming. You've got to help people to get into work, and I think that's entirely reasonable. I do think
that's an interesting comment, because you had a workfare scheme. You co-funded a workfare scheme called Day One Support for Young People, yes. Trailblazer. And actually, young people, 18 to 24, who went on your scheme were half as likely to get a job as people who weren't on your scheme.
Well, that's
so it was actually worse for people to be on your workfare scheme with sanctions than it was for people not to engage.
I think you'll be a bit unfair there, because
the facts are the facts.
I remember vividly the scheme that we were trying to help some people who'd had real difficulty.
But you made things worse for them.
And actually, if you look at the record of this city and this government over the last 5 years or so, actually we've got NEETs. You talk about 18 to 24-year-olds. We've got the young people not in education, employment or training at the lowest level for 25 years. That's a fantastic achievement, and you should be proud of that. Jenny, you should be proud to be participating in London government.
I think you should be ashamed of sanctions.
Well, the Greens are now out of time.
Unfortunately, I don't run the welfare system, but I think it would be wrong to scrap.
Which leaves only the Conservative group.